The payment made by Sporting Goods Company on the 7th of June was a reasonably involved transaction, and so I've decided to let's look at it from a slightly different perspective so that we see why we've made the entries we have. So if you look at the cash receipts journal, we see we've made these journal entries. Debit cash at bank, $27,218, and that amount is really fairly obvious where that came from, because that's the amount they paid us. We've also debited discount, $1,620, and debited GST clearing for $162. We add all of those up and we need to credit accounts receivable by $29,000. So that means they've reduced their accounts receivable by $29,000 by paying $27,218 cash and getting a discount, and part of that discount related to GST. So what was the key information we've been given, and how do we work that out? Well, we received a cash payment for the amount we've been talking about, and it said this related to their account. So we now need to go and look at their account. And in the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger, it says they have an opening balance of $29,000, and that works well because that's how much they paid off. And that this is the balance of an invoice dated the 31st of the 5th for $59,400, and the terms were 3/10 net 30. So in other words, if they pay within 10 days, they'll get a 3% discount. Let's look at what has happened here. So on the 31st of the 5th, we made a sale of $59,400 on credit. On that same day, they paid off $30,400. Now that's not going to typically happen, but in this case they have. So they've left a balance of $29,000. So when they pay off that $29,000, they'll get the discount for the full amount of the $59,400. So let's look at the discount. The balance of the invoice on that date was, the total of the invoice was $59,400. Therefore they're entitled to a 3% discount if they pay before the 9th of the 6th. They've done that. What is 3% of $59,400? Well, if you put $59,400 in your calculator, then multiply that by 0.03, you will come up with $1,782. Now we need to look at this because we need to break that down further, because that has some GST in it. So let's look. If we go back to the original transaction, the original transaction was, we had a selling price totaling $54,000. We then added on the 10% GST, $5,400, to give us a total of $59,400. So with regard to the discount, we now need to work out what part of the discount is GST. So discount being given in total, 1782, we divide that by 11, because 1/11th is GST and 10/11ths is the actual sales price. So 1782 divided by 11 is 162, then multiply that by 10 is the price, 1620, which comes out at a total of 1782. So that's good. That's the amount we wanted to come to, because that's the discount that we've worked out. So now when we look at the total amounts in the transactions, where do they come from? GST 162, the actual discount is 10 times that, 1620. They paid us a cheque of $27,218. Now we add all of those items up, and that's what their account receivable will reduce by, and that will be $29,000.